are going to talk to you about what it's like for us to read.
Oh, yeah.
And then
What's it
like
when you talk to dead people? I don't really know how I do it. I just do it. And
you just do it.
You just do it. Like, what does it feel like? It's kind of hard to explain. Like, I want to say that we have, like, the total, like, that's a Raven look. It's not always like that.
No.
Brittany and I, as we have worked together more and more, we realize that we end up kind of reading very similarly. But it's interesting how spirit will connect when there is a really important message that, like, I have to deliver to somebody. Like, now I have to give it. Or like there's a really big, strong energy that comes through. Spirit will make my heart race like I just ran like 300 miles or something, or drank a ton of coffee.
Like a panic attack.
It's very rapid, and it will not settle until I deliver the message. We're kind of staring off into space sometimes, and we kind of were trained to, like, find a focal point. I literally will have conversations, and I'll be like, you know, you're I'm reading you, and I'll be like, okay, hang on 1 second. Okay, so this is what they're saying. And I'm also the weird one. Like, I'll be at, like, a seance circle or something, or even in the movie theaters, and I'll just be sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'll get like this.
You always do
I'll
that.
Get, like, I know, it freaks people out. Like, I feel like I'm doing like
you always
some
do
crazy
that.
dance move. Like, they'll make like I'm doing
You're
Harlem
like
Shake or
Whoopi
something.
Goldberg on Ghost.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, spirit's here. Like, it's crazy. But, like, that's what it's kind of like reading for me. Like, I really don't know how I do it, but they just kind of come through, and we talk so fast.
So fast.
People, like, we're trying to get this information out, and people are like, and I'm like, blah, 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 you got this? And I'm like, yeah. I'm gonna write this down, because once it's out, it's out.
I do always stare into space. I stare into space. I stutter.
Oh.
I stutter majorly. I always go like this. This is, you know, I'm reading because I'll start to go like this, because I do these weird infinities, but the infinities change color for me to know what's going on for the person. And then I'll go, okay. So, because they're talking, and what they're telling me is coming out so fast that I stutter, and I'm like, okay, hold on. Okay.
Yeah, but and you've gotten good with that. Like, you've learned how to work with that a lot better.
Yeah, I just stutter. What's really happening also for me physically is it's a very physical experience. Mm-hmm. So I'll be connecting. So if you're sitting with me and you sit, and I'll be like, hi, Dan. Okay, have you ever had a reading before? Blah, blah, blah. So then I'll start to connect to you. And then they'll light up whatever's going on in my body first where they want me to start. So if you have a lot of stuff going on in the heart or the solar plexus, I'm going to get jabbed right in that area. And they're going to start to twist that, or like my throat. And then
so you're reading with your body to connect as well.
I completely read with my body.
Yep.
So they start with my body, and then I'll be like, all right, what do I need to know about the solar plexus? And then they'll start to show me whatever's going on for you, whether it's physical. If you have something physical going on, they'll make me feel the physical thing.
Okay.
And then they immediately release it, so you don't have to get scared. Because some people are like, why would you want to feel a heart attack all the time? But like someone who has an ulcer, like I've had one before, it'll just be like...
You just get a sense. You get a sense. You're not taking it on.
No, you're not taking it on. It's rule number 1, don't take it on anyone's crap. So
then, my own crap.
Yeah. It feels like this when spirit comes in. And then it's just
yeah, they do. They get up close and personal. They're like, hello, I'm right here.
And I'm like, oh, okay.
And it gets really warm too. Like, you get the temperatures.
Really hot.
I remember reading at a fair once, and I'm just drawing this stuff, and I literally just sat down, and this younger girl comes, and her mom's with her, and we were reading. I just started to connect to her energy, and I'm drawing, and I just start drawing this thing, and I'm drawing like ice cream cones, and I'm like, ice cream cones, and I just remember thinking that was so odd. So just out of my mouth, I had no idea why I said this, but I'm like, so, like, you either work in an ice cream shop or there's a job opportunity coming through an ice cream parlor. The girl, I mean, she went, like, whiter than my shirt. Like, she's like, how did you know that I just got hired, like, 2 weeks ago? And that's because, you know, like, and I wasn't focusing on that, and spirit brings information through in really unique ways like that.
So I asked Dan to work a home party with me. And I had never got to experience your energy in a reading environment, so I'm pretty confident that's why this happened. So Dan was in the kitchen of this house, and I was in the living room, and I was doing my
She was healing readings, and I was doing readings in the kitchen.
Yep.
A very classic tarot reader of me.
Yes. And this woman, I had her guides come through, and he was talking to me about, I was saying, you don't understand the doors that will be opened for you if you just trust in us. And all of a sudden, the front door blew open. And I was like, and Dan comes around. All of a sudden, you see Dan like creep around the corner, and he's like, "Is everything okay in here?" He's like, all of a sudden, I got a sense that I needed to make sure everything was all right, and I was like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me right now!"
Now, mind you, this was a thick front door, and it literally turned the handle and opened, and I'm a skeptic myself. Like, I try to debunk things and, like, is there a rational explanation for why something happened? And I'm like, okay, but the back door was closed. And the windows were closed. There was no draft to pull this through. Like, you really had to crank this mother to open up. And it was like, and I felt like right as she was, like, hearing this message, I had, like, this scene that's still in my head, like, go up and go around. Because there's two entrances to where you were standing, and I had to go through the front door entrance, and it was so funny. We and a bunch of our friends were at a Halloween party, and it was like a masquerade party. So we're all dressed up. The people we were hanging with, like from our group, were either mediums or psychics or healers. Like it was just our thing, and this woman's house is really cool. She really decorated it like to the nines, like a haunted house. And we're sitting in this like parlor room that looks like you would do readings there.
Oh yeah.
So like somebody opened their mouth and said that we were readers, and really this was just fun for us when we weren't going to work. And so we're like, no, we don't really want to read. But people kept coming in like, oh, will you read us? They kind of kept bugging it. So we're like, fine. And this one girl comes in, and I remember you, me, Wolf Mother, and our friend, I'll just call her C right now, because I don't know if I could say her name. Like, we're sitting, like, on this part of the circular part of the table, kind of like that show, the Shark Tank, or whatever the business Shark Tank, and we're all sitting there, and so we're all, like, unison, like, sit. Come in and sit down. Like, it's all Halloweenish, there's cobwebs and everything. And
very cliche.
Very cliche. And there's this beautiful chandelier hanging from the ceiling. And it's an open room, y'all. Okay, so there was a doorway here and a doorway like behind where we were facing, and they were open. So there's plenty of time for draft of air to come through. And we were sitting in that room for a good couple hours. Not once did we ever notice anything moving around the ceiling, nothing moving with the tides, and people were coming in and out of this door over here on the right. It was the main entrance.
It's a very stagnant air room.
There didn't seem to be much movement. So this girl sits down and we're like, have you ever had a reading before? And she's like, no.
Please say your name.
And like we're like, okay, so we all connect differently. We went through our process. And everybody else in the room...
Mind you, this girl, we had to warn her, if you want a reading, you're getting one from all of us at the same time. Yeah,
all four of us
It was a panel of
mediums
reading this one girl.
And everybody else in the room, including our other friends, said like the room shifted, and the four of us, it was like we synchronized our abilities. Like I felt like I had tunnel vision. It was just us four and this girl in the room, and we were like, I opened my mouth and I'm spitfiring information, and then you go, and then Wolf Mother goes, and then C goes, and like we're all reading stuff. Boom, and she didn't really know what to do with the information.
She's like,
but everybody else was freaking out in the room, and they're like, you guys didn't see it. And we're like, what? And like, the thing on the chandelier was spinning like wicked fast. And the moment we ended the reading, dead stopped. It just like completely stopped. So that was like one of the best experiences, because I think we watched it stop, but we didn't see it go full force. And everyone, the muggles in the room and our friends, they were like, some weird.
We had an audience.
We had a huge audience, and they're like, something weird. And the girl was like, okay. And I think she was a little freaked out, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Probably the most badass reading we've ever given. It's probably the most badass group reading that anyone could ever give.
Those are some of our fun stories that we want to share with you. And if you guys have any fun psychic stories, we really would love to hear about them.
Yeah.
And if there's some really good ones, we might talk about them on the air, because we like sharing. So send us your stories and about any fun, cool experiences that you might have had. I'm sure there's more of that, but we just can't think of it just yet.
We've got millions. You'll hear about them eventually.
So we just wanted to say again, thanks guys for following us. Don't forget to hit subscribe to support our show and to stay up to date to upcoming episodes. And I like to personally give a special shout out to Lisa. I love you lots too, darling. And if you want my voice here in your voicemail, just let me know. I'll hook you up. Okay? Alright, guys. Peace, love.
Love you guys.
Take care, guys. Talk to you soon.